Hello everyone, and as promised, here's your tutorial regarding Team Deliverable 1. Now, your Team Deliverable 1, before we get started on the specifics of that, I just want to go over the Team Policies and Expectations form, which you're seeing before you. Now, pursuant to this form, there are specific requirements and fallbacks for the team and the team captain. Something I want everyone to be aware of, because I received emails last weekend about team members not getting their work in for the team expectations or team building exercise. It's very, very important that you provide your section of every deliverable to the team captain by Thursday prior to the due date, which is generally a Sunday. So that Thursday prior to that Sunday, you need to get your information to the team captain unless you have all decided otherwise. Because the team captain has to have the opportunity to put everything together, collate it, get it all into a cohesive package, send the rough draft out to everyone for review and approval, and then get the final draft in by Sunday. So it is not acceptable for anyone to get their documentation for their part of the project to the team captain on Saturday, and absolutely not on Sunday. So if you do that, please understand your name will not be on the title page and you will not be considered a contributing member. And that's because it's not fair to everybody else who then has to take up the slack because they think that you're not going to be participating. Which brings us to the title page. Every deliverable does have to have a title page, and the team number as well as the names of all the contributing team members, those who did actively participate, go on that title page. Because remember, if you look at the rubric, and I encourage you strongly to take a look at the rubrics for the team projects, because if you look at the rubric, then you'll be able to understand how each team member's contribution is going to affect the overall grade of the team project as well as the individual grade of each team member. So, all right, enough about that. Let's now move on to the meat of Deliverable 1. So for Deliverable 1, what you're doing is you're actually creating a hypothetical scenario. And the hypothetical scenario is based on one of these 4 areas: employment discrimination, the American with Disabilities Act, hostile work environment, and sexual harassment. Now understand, oftentimes if we have an employment discrimination case or a sexual harassment case, you also have a hostile work environment. However, you could have a hostile work environment without having sexual harassment or necessarily discrimination, because it could just be pointed at one individual for whatever reason. Is it wrong? Yes, that's why we have provisions for elimination of hostile work environment. But you're looking at these 4 areas. So you have to choose from 1 or 2 of these areas for your scenario. And so you're either going to have a sexual harassment that, of course, is also going to have hostile work environment involved, or you're going to have an employment discrimination case, or you're going to have an American with Disabilities kind of situation. Now, your overall Deliverable 1 should be no less than 1 page and has to be very fact specific. So your first paragraph is going to talk about the overall individuals involved. So you're going to talk about the company, you're going to talk about what it is the company does, you're going to talk about the demographics of the company, how many employees, where it's located, because sometimes we have to look at things, we have to say, oh, it's in this state, it's a different field. Culturally, we are really very diverse, even within the United States itself. So you have to look at those things as well. How many employees? What's the makeup of ratio of men to women? What is the specifics? What does the employee do? How old is the employee? Is the employee female or male? Youth sometimes plays a role in that. So we have to be very, very fact specific. So you're setting up the whole situation with your first paragraph and telling us about the company and about the individuals involved with the company. Give them names, so we can talk about who they are, and again, give them ages, genders, if they have an ailment, discuss what that ailment is. If they have a disability, discuss what that disability is. You shouldn't be embarrassed about discussing the facts because you're setting forth a scenario and you have to be specific. Now, if it's a sexual harassment case, that doesn't mean you need to be vulgar. But just in general, you do need to be specific about what happened. You know, he put his arm around her and grabbed her and kissed her, or she, you know, grabbed him in the left butt cheek, and you know, as he was walking by. So you have to be specific. You know, we have to be specific. If somebody is actually in a sexual harassment case, if they are actually propositioning people, you have to say what exactly was said. You can't say, well, they propositioned them. Well, you know, that's very general, and that's actually a conclusion. What is it they actually said that might be considered a proposition? So you need to be very specific with that, with your facts, because your facts are going to tell us and lead us into the direction of the issue or issues. There won't be more than 2 issues. You're going to have 1 or 2 overall issues in the case. Now, your second and third paragraphs should talk about the actual facts of the situation, what took place, over what period of time it took place, what steps were taken by the employee to address the situation, what steps were taken by the employer to address the situation when it came to the employer's attention. Again, very fact specific. So there's no way you can complete this deliverable in less than a full page, single space with double space in between paragraphs. You do have to use proper APA formatting. When we talk about formatting, we're not talking about citations. That's different, because you're not citing to anything, because this is a hypothetical fake scenario that you're creating based on your personal and professional experiences in life to date, in information that you may have gathered here and there via the news. So or movies that you've seen or whatever, but it cannot be, it's based on any one particular situation. So it's something that we gather from different areas. And with that said, so you're going to create it. Your last paragraph is going to talk about, you know, so the person was fired and now they are seeking legal advice to determine what their rights are. You're not going to say that the person is now suing for violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're not going to say that they're suing for sexual harassment, because that's a decision or determination that we need to find, because that's going to be what is the issue in the case. In other words, why would the individual be suing? And so that's what we're looking at from that standpoint. Now, if you want to send me your rough draft, I can take a look at it prior to it being submitted, but I would have to have it by Saturday morning at the very latest, so I can take a look at it and review it and get back to you and let you know whether you're heading in the right direction. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me. I'll be on and offline on Saturday and part of the day tomorrow. So you all have a great day today. It's Thursday, and again, if you have questions, just let me know. Good luck.